A couple of days ago, exactly on the 14th of July, the European Parliament was held to brainstorm on the issue of the religious persecution that is taking place in the northeastern part of India, especially called Manipur. As I listened to this very exhaustive discussion, I tried or I thought that I should give a different type of title to this discussion, which was held in the plenary session of the European Parliament meeting. And so I title it, or I call it, the Euphemistic Europe Mongering on Manipur. Euphemistic Europe Mongering on Manipur. So this title may look rather unappreciable, or I should say sarcastic to many people, especially to the sophisticated and very tender and soft and mild mindset of the European people. Then I have my own reasons to call it the mongering on Manipur. You must be asking why. Because Europe has many specialities. When I say Europe, I especially mean the Western Europe, not very much of the Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and then its counterpart, the United States of America. One of the specialities of the Western approach to international issues is that they have specially selected and carefully coined vocabulary. So many, I should say, very beautiful words in their vocabulary to address international issues, like they would say rather, or unacceptable, or violation, or inappropriate, or incredible, contempt, terrible, not humanitarian, or shocking, or otherwise disgusting. This is only a short list, but it has a long. English language is rich with all these sorts of vocabulary, which I would title as rather euphemistic. Do you know why I would call it euphemistic? Because these things don't really expose, or these words don't really highlight, or don't really strike at the seriousness of the incident or situation or the event that they are actually addressing. Let us look at it, especially the northeast part of India, where religious atrocities or persecutions against Christians are on spiral for more than a month now. What is it like? It is spine-chilling killing. Spine-chilling killing. Daylight plundering and looting. Daylight plundering and looting. Gruesome acts. Macabre realities. What could I call it? Evil has nowhere else been manifested with so much fiercity as in the religious persecutions staged in Manipur now. Evil has nowhere else been manifested with so much ferocity. So what is the reality? That's the question. Well, the reality is people have been murdered, houses have been destroyed, church buildings and religious institutions have been ransacked, and all sort of violence, which gives the picture of nothing but a pagan or tribal society where tribal laws, not democratic laws, where tribal rules existed once upon a time. Now we could see all those tribal practices, the chaotic tribal practices have now been resurfaced in India. That is the hard reality. That is the hard reality. Now, there is a question. Whenever we face an issue, the first question that comes to our mind is who are the perpetrators of this evil? Who are the forces or the factors or the elements behind this terrible act of evil? That is the first thing to be addressed. Well, when we look at the Indian scenario, especially from the Western perspective, the first thing we realize is because when we look at things from here, we get certainly only a superfluous or surface level view of it. And what is it that we get? The first thing that the Europeans can realize is that it is the Modi regime or Narendra Modi ji himself or what do you call the Hindu fanatic rule that are perpetuating this evil. Okay, that is fair enough. So, who are the perpetrators or the evildoers? Yes, Narendra Modi. Yes. Now there is a question. What is Narendra Modi? I don't ask who is Narendra Modi. That question doesn't make much sense. So I ask the question, what is Narendra Modi? Well, it goes without saying that he is the Prime Minister of India. Can we ascribe anything more than that to him? Yes, of course. Besides being the Prime Minister of India, when I say besides being the Prime Minister of India, he is not the first Prime Minister that India has seen so far. When we look at Narendra Modi, there is something that hallmarks him as particular and different and very, very special from all his predecessors. So, what is that one thing that hallmarks him different from the all other prime ministers of India? Certainly, that is, besides being the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, it goes without saying, is certainly the apostle and propagator or something else. That is what is called the Hindu fanatic views. And that's why the religious atrocities in India, especially against the Christian minorities, and that too the Christian population from the northeast, who are by and large tribals, Dalits, broken people, and those in the downtrodden sections of the caste society in India. So the atrocities have been unleashed on them, which is as evident as daylight to the rest of the world. But except to the eyes of Narendra Modi ji, which have been, I should say, eclipsed, or I should rather say, emasculated by religious fanaticism. Now, the question is again, what is the cause of these religious atrocities in India? Is it because of the Prime Minister? Well, he is not the first Prime Minister. So it is not because we have a wrong Prime Minister. I don't say wrong Prime Minister, but Europe may think, or somebody else may think, that he is the wrong Prime Minister, if at all they think. Is it the wrong Prime Minister? The cause behind this particular issue? Certainly, there is no effect without cause. As long as we don't diagnose the situation, and we delve deep into finding out the actual perpetrators of evil, we will be groping in the dark, not knowing who actually are working behind it. Now, however, when we see Modi and his regime as the perpetrators of evil against the Christian minorities in India, the West at large is certainly in a comfort zone because it's all done by them. And what about us? Well, we stand for human rights, human values, democracy, equality, fraternity, great ideals of scientific perspectives, philosophical bent of mind, and I should say, philosophical high ground of human values. So we are people of all good and positive things made of. We are absolutely fantastic people. Do we actually have a role, knowingly or unknowingly, played behind the atrocities now being staged in India? As long as we are not able to realize whether the West has played any role, knowingly or unknowingly, behind this situation, I must say the West, unfortunately, is groping in the dark. So, what actually is the cause behind the religious atrocities in India? Are we going to limit it to a man and his faith? Then I should unfortunately say we are on the wrong. Then what actually it is? Let's try to see that in the next video. Thank you.